So, okay, now I'm going to explain you what we have read. Okay, so chapter 10 contacts with distant lands from 200 BC to 300 AD. Okay, from 200 BC to 300 AD, we are going to discuss today. What happened in this chapter? We have read ancient Tamil country. Okay, earlier times your Tamil country was known as Tamilakam. Okay, now two states are there, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Earlier they were together called as Tamilakam. Which two states? I can ask this question. Keep on underlining. So, ancient Tamil country was known as Tamilakam. It was made up of two states now, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. This Tamilakam was ruled by three Tamil dynasties. Which were the three Tamil dynasties? The Tamilakam was ruled by Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. These were the three ruling dynasties, Tamil dynasties, which were ruling Tamilakam. Tamilakam means the states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu at that time. So here they are talking about the source of information, how we got to know about Tamilakam. How we got to know about Tamilakam, three Tamil dynasties were ruling, the reigns were Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. We came to know by Sangam literature. The Tamil literature is known as your Sangam literature. So by this literature, we got to know about the Tamilakam. I hope this is clear. This first paragraph is clear to you all. No problem, Chahat. I'll give you a chance again. And I hope the topic is clear. It is clear. Any doubt is there to anyone? Okay. Now the second paragraph is talking about your Sangam literature. Now I told you here only the source of information we got to know about Tamilakam is from Sangam literature. This Sangam literature is known as your Tamil literature. This Sangam literature is known as your Tamil literature. Sangam word means Sangha. What is the meaning of the word Sangham? Sangha. Sangha in Buddhist means the assembly of monks. The Buddhist meaning of Sangam or Sangha is assembly of monks. If I talk about in Tamil, the meaning of the term Sangam is assembly. The meaning of the term Sangam or Sangha is assembly. Your Tamil literature deals with love, with war, with governance, with trade, and bereavement. What is bereavement? Means when somebody died or somebody have been lost from the family, close relative. When your close friend death happens or he died, so that is known as your word bereavement. That is known as your bereavement. Got this point? Bereavement. What is bereavement? When someone who is very close friend of yours or close relative of yours, that person dies, bereavement. Got this point till here? Beta, assembly of any kind, Bhumi. Okay, we are telling about the word Sangam word means Sangha and Sangha word means assembly. Okay, like Buddhists, they are saying assembly of monks. So in Tamil, they means assembly. We are going to read the chapter. I'm going to discuss various points of this. So Tamil literature deals with the love, war, governance, and trade and bereavement. Got this point till here? Shresht, I'm going to remove you from my option. I'm telling you, Shresht. And you will not enter in my class from now. You can go out, Shresht, from my class. Straightforward. And no need to enter in Divi ma'am's class from now onwards. I will not tolerate anything in the chat. If something is important, then only send me the message in the chat. So now we are going to discuss about the Sangam literature. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the Sangam literature. So what about the Sangam literature I have talked about? I will discuss and I will going to ask questions also from you. So first assembly, if I talk about first assembly, there the Sangam were assemblies where Tamils, poets and scholars gathered. Okay, what were the Sangams? Beta, your Sangams were the assembly. Like Bhumi is asking, na ma'am, what kind of assembly? Bhumi, it is that kind of assembly where your poets and your scholars, they used to gather. Your poets and scholars, they used to gather and they used to discuss here. So the Sangams were the assemblies where Tamil poets and scholars, they gathered under the Pandyan king. Okay, they used to gather under which king? Under your Pandyan king. Okay, so Sangams were the Tamil assemblies where your poets and scholars, they used to gather under your Pandyan king. So the work of the assemblies, what kind of work the assemblies used to do? Okay. Rudra, my video is on. I don't know about yours. See, if I talk about first assembly is lost entirely. Anu ma'am, I'm not visible to you. This board is not visible, students. No, Bhavika, my video is not off. Beta, it is visible. I have joined with 2 IDs. Okay, the ID which is pinned, please see that. Okay, where I am using the board. So first assembly is lost entirely, means whatever the poets and the scholars have written under the Pandyan king in that Sangam is being lost. That is your first assembly. That is being lost. Nobody know where the first assembly things are being gone. The second assembly and third assembly things are being preserved in Madurai. They are being preserved in Madurai. These things are being preserved in Madurai. So first assembly, whatever we know about the first assembly, everything is being lost. Nobody knows about the first assembly, whatever the poets and scholars have gathered. Scholars are the intelligent people of that time who used to discuss about the kingdom, that what is happening in the kingdom. So second and third assembly things are being preserved in Madurai, and there were 8,598 poets and scholars at that time. How many? You can underline 598 poets were there and scholars were there. We are having no definite evidence. We are having no definite evidence about the dates of these assemblies. That what time, at what date, at what time these assemblies were collected. Okay, they collected the information at what time. Nobody knows about this. It lasted for 120 to 150 years. These assembly lasted for 120 to 150 years. Many kings have preserved it. Okay, under several kings, they have preserved this data. Okay, if I talk about the entire collection consists of 2,279 poems, 473 poets who wrote this, and 102 anonymous pieces. Anonymous means unknown pieces. We don't know who has written that. Okay, that is anonymous pieces. So 2,279 poems, 473 poets, 102 anonymous pieces have been preserved. Sukhraj, my video is not off. Kindly go to Divi Mehta, the second video. It is on. Preserve. Preserve means something which is kept under जो हमने बचा के रखा है, that is preserved. Okay, the things which are being preserved, that is in Madurai. These assemblies things are being preserved in Madurai. So to this thing done. Now if I talk about, I have told you na 2,279 poems were there. So the main important poem was Patu Patu. Kindly underline the name of the poem. Patu Patu. Patu Patu is the name of the poem. It is 10 long poems. Okay. Patu Patu means the 10 long poems. Okay, in Patu Patu poem, they have described about the historic deeds of the three kingdoms. What historic deeds of three south kingdoms? What Pandyas did? Okay, historic deeds of Pandyas, historic deeds of Cheras, historic deeds of Cholas is being mentioned in the poem Patu Patu. Okay, in history, whatever good things, whatever good deeds they have done, that is being mentioned in this poem Patu Patu. They have also described the life of the common people. In Patu Patu, it is also being described the life of the common people. So very important poem was Patu Patu. It is 10 long poems. It describes the historic deeds underlined of your three Tamil kingdoms, that is Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. And they also describes the life of a common people. It also describes the life of a common people. Gunjan, Patu Patu is 10 long poem. This is a Tamil word which means 10 long poems. Done. Kashi, heroic deeds means somebody who is a hero. He is the star, na? That person is the star. So here these three families, these three ruling families were the star. They describe their heroic deeds. That as a hero, what they have done for their kingdom. Anything else you want to ask? Anything else you want to ask? Okay. So may I go further? Okay. Third assembly. I told you now the second and third assembly, whatever was the thing over there, that is being preserved, that is being protected. Okay, in Madurai. So we are talking about here about the third assembly period. In the third assembly period, 100 AD, so if I talk about third assembly period, 100 AD to 300 AD, what was happening? In third assembly period was 100 AD to 300 AD. It was the third assembly period. So Sangam poem words were mentioned. Muvender means whenever you read Sangam poems, a word is being there many times used. That is Muvender. What is the meaning of this word? Muvender. Muvender is a Tamil word. Muvender is a Tamil word. Three chiefs used for the heads of three ruling families. This word Muvender is being used for the three ruling chiefs of the family. Chiefs means the head of the family. Okay, why this word Muvender is being used again and again in the Sangam literature when you read it. So this Muvender word is being used in the Sangam poems often The Muvender is a Tamil word. First thing, it is a Tamil word. It means the three chief heads of the three ruling families of South India. Which were the three ruling families of the South India? Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. This too we have done. These are the Cholas, Cheras, and the Pandyas. These three ruling families, these Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas, they were very powerful in the South India around 2300 years ago. They were very powerful in the South India around 2300 years ago. If I talk about three chiefs, they were having two main centers. Okay, one on the inlet, another on near the coast. Of course, if you are ruling a kingdom, you have to maintain your army also na, somewhere. So they were having two main centers, one to inland, another one nearby the coast. Out of 6 cities, 2 cities were very important. Why these 2 cities were very important? One city was Puhar or Kaveri Patnam. It was the port of the Cholas, and other city was Madurai. It was the capital of Pandyas. Which 2 cities were famous? Underline. Kaveri Patnam and Puhar, which is known as Puhar. Puhar or Kaveri Patnam, these were the port of the Cholas. And Madurai is the capital of the Pandyas. These two were the main cities. In the yellow, this is the name of the city. Okay, Madurai, Puhar or Kaveri Patnam. Kaveri Patnam or Puhar is port of Cholas and Madurai is capital of Pandyas. Any doubt?